Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of The Lindsey Anderson Show. Today, we're talking about resiliency, one of my favorite words, one of my favorite qualities, and something I strive to improve upon every single day because I have found as a business owner, resiliency in business equals success because business is just a situation after situation of challenges that you have to overcome in order to get to the next level. The key for overcoming all of those challenges is resiliency. It really is the key to success. Yet, so many high achievers and business owners and entrepreneurs struggle with this. Life and business throws so many challenges our way, stress, setbacks, and failure. But the real question is, how do we rise stronger? Without resilience, setbacks feel like roadblocks instead of stepping stones, leaving business owners stuck, exhausted, and unsure of how to even move forward. So today's guest is going to help us all with resiliency. But before we hop into that, I want to make sure that you know if you are ready to turn your social media into a client generation machine, stop the overwhelm, and start building a business that fuels you, I'm offering a free social media strategy session for serious business owners who are ready to take action. Spots are limited. You can apply now by going to lindseya.com/apply. Let's hop into our interview. Today, we're talking to someone who truly understands what it takes to build resiliency and bounce back stronger. Miss Hannah Austin is a best-selling author, international podcast host, and CEO of She Shatters, where she helps professionals navigate challenges and come out stronger. She's been featured on ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox News, and her podcast, Burn Brightly, is dedicated to helping people build unshakable resilience in work and life.
Are you ready for next level growth in your business? Welcome to the Lindsey Anderson Show, where we pull back the curtain on the exact strategies, tools, and mindsets that build million-dollar empires. If you're hungry for more time, more freedom, and a whole lot more impact, you've come to the right place. Buckle up, because we're about to ignite your business journey. Now, here's Lindsey.
This episode is brought to you by the BAM Agency. Done-for-you social media that actually drives results. Not just likes, but high-ticket sales. If you're ready to turn your content into a client-generating machine, grab a free strategy session call by heading over to lindseya.com/apply. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
So before we dive into resilience and how to build that, can you introduce yourself and share a little bit about what made you focus on resiliency and high performance recovery?
Sure. So I spent the last 20 years in healthcare, which empaths know, and many people know that's a challenging environment. I worked myself up at the age of 21 to a director position at one of the largest hospitals in the world. And during COVID, I actually collapsed in the hospital that I was managing staff in. So it was kind of a cathartic moment of working myself almost virtually to death. I realized at that time, Lindsey, that I had to make a change. And I actually started a mental health and wellness company during the pandemic, launched a podcast, and wrote a book that became a bestseller in 10 days. So I now know more than ever what it's like to recover and heal from burnout. And I wanted to share my words of wisdom and model with my community.
So let's talk a little bit about resiliencies and why do so many people and entrepreneurs, business owners struggle with that? You've obviously went through all of that. Why is that?
I think we focus a lot on the external forces in our lives versus our internal forces. Speaking from experience as well as with my clients, we are so busy focusing on social media and our friends and our family and how people treat us and what we think people think of us that we really don't realize that we need to get back in the driver's seat of our own life. With the pandemic happening, especially, Lindsey, we saw so many people worried and fearful of what was happening in the external world, trying to control and hold on to what we could. But I often think as entrepreneurs and leaders in this world, we are a passenger in our own life, living an unconscious life. We're not actually taking control and actionable next steps to live the life that we really want to live. So I teach people how to do that from the inside out.
That makes sense. So tell me, Hannah, what are some of the hidden costs mentally, physically, emotionally when you don't develop resilience? I think you have personal stories around this.
Yeah, I mean, crashing and burning and collapsing in the hospital that I was managing staff in. It was cathartic. It was embarrassing. It was, I hit the wall, right? And my vision and dream is that no one winds up the way I did, right? On the bathroom floor, contemplating ending your life. It's your mental health and resilience. Without it, you have nothing, right? We talk about putting on your oxygen mask. I really do believe that if you have no mental health and wellness, or you are not in control of your own life, you're just a passenger in this crazy, hectic world. And you also have more control. I think a lot of people really want control right now with what's happening in our world. We're not quite sure what's happening with the interest rates, with war, whatever. The only thing that we can really control is our own destination and our own path. And so treating ourselves almost like a project, right? How many of us project manage the heck out of work? But do we actually make a plan for our lives? That's where I come in, and that's where I can help my clients really dive deep into living the life. I call it the extraordinary life they deserve and need.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how to make a plan for your life. So what are the first steps in that? To a lot of people, that feels very out there. I don't really know where to start. That feels so overwhelming. Where do we start, Hannah, when we want to make a plan for our life?
Yeah, so I created a model. I'm a very operational focused person, and working with my clients, they're like, we need something that we can have on the fridge or have in our phones. And I call it the Burn Bright model. So it's 6 steps, which is stop and pause, whether that's a weekend at the beach alone, or whether that's an hour in your schedule where you have a piece of paper and you write down, why am I here? Where am I at this point in my life? The second step is really around, how did I get here? Why am I burning out? What's happening in my life? The third step is...
Actually, hold on one second here. Let's break this down a little bit more step by step, if you don't mind. So this is called the Burn Break model. Is that right?
Burn Bright model, yes.
Burn Bright model. Okay, so step number 1 was, how did I get here?
Stop and pause.
Stop and pause. And we want to do that every time something triggers us or makes us emotional, or we just need to stop and pause.
Correct.
Okay, what is step 2?
Yeah, it's figuring out, why am I in the situation that I am? How did I burn out? Why am I here?
Okay.
How
Okay.
did
And
I
what
get
are some
here?
questions that we can ask around that? Like, we're looking at patterns that got us here, people that got us here. What are we looking at there?
Patterns of old behavior, what's showing up for us, what are we experiencing, where are we actually in our career? Did we just get promoted but we have no training? Did we just get a divorce? Did we just get married? What are the changes in our lives that have led us to be at the situation that we're currently in, right?
Okay. Step 3.
Is discovering kind of the why and what's next, right? So what are our options? So we know where we are, how we're feeling, what's happening in our bodies. Are we experiencing headaches? A lot of people have acid reflux disease, right? They're feeling like their stomach's upset. They're getting migraines. They're crying to and from work. What are the physical, mental, spiritual situations that we're having, or symptoms that we're having?
And can you speak a little bit more to those physical ailments when you're going through chaos and burnout? How closely tied are those to what's happening emotionally?
When you don't express your emotions or talk about your emotions, they are intrinsically stored in your liver, your gut, your heart. It's energy, right, that's stored within you. So it manifests in stomach issues, irritability, headaches. You often see people holding their neck or going like this or rubbing their temples. Often people have urinary frequency. Often people have chest palpitations, specifically women. Recently, you could be diagnosed with high blood pressure. That's a very common thing with people who are suffering and experience burnout. So all of these things manifest itself by not expressing, not acknowledging, not addressing the main issue.
Okay, so I mean, and I've seen this happen many times before, is you can ignore it till it becomes like physical, and your body will actually stop you and make you kind of walk through the steps of the Burn Bright method.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so that was step 3, is discovering the why. What is step 4?
Exploring your options. So once you've realized, okay, I'm burned out, I need to take a break, how did I get here? It's, what options do I have? Is that I stay in my current job? Is that I ask for more training? Is it that I take a vacation? What are my actual options to get some relief? See a doctor, get labs done, whatever that is, exploring your options. Now, one of my favorite things, Lindsey, is to ask the people around you in your life, how are you experiencing right now? How are you experiencing me? Am I having road rage? Am I, outbursts? Or how am I showing up at 4:00 at night? Often families will say, well, when we ask mom what's for dinner, she freaks out because she has no energy left at the end of the day. So what is your family and friends experiencing? And then the other piece is, what are the options available to you? Are you in the right career? Do you need additional training? Do you need a vacation? Do you need to read a book? What exactly do you need? And then make a plan to get that. Do you need to take a class? What are things that you could add to your life? What type of tools can you apply?
Okay, I like this. I like this strategy of asking the people around you. Do you find that as you consult people on that they're like, sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror there, especially with our loved ones, but what power there is. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, this actually happened after I burned out. I was like, okay, now what's next for me? I can't go back to my career. I need a pause and a reset. And this is how I started my company, Lindsey. I emailed a previous colleague of mine and said, here's where I'm at. I'm stuck. What do you see me doing? When you've worked with me for the last 10 years, what do you think I'd be good at next? And you know what he said to me? You need to be the CEO of your own company. And I think you need to build a mental health and wellness company because you were always the one that was helping us keep our oxygen masks on. You may not have done it for yourself, but you were always that helper. And once I started to explore and unpack, what did that look like? How could I create an LLC? Like I literally did the steps to make it happen. It felt right, Lindsey. It was like putting on the right pair of shoes. I had been in a pair of shoes that didn't fit me for so long. Now I had a new cute pair. And I wouldn't have gotten that idea if I wouldn't have asked someone that I loved and trusted, who was honest with me and had the respect for me to be honest with me.
So you would say, I just want you to repeat that. So you would say maybe you would have never thought of yourself in this way had you not had that external reflection back on you to consider that. That's really interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's powerful. And because I got that information and I treated it so, sacredly, I actually created an email template that I share with my clients now that basically is they edit, copy, edit, paste it. They can put it in an email. They can send it to their distro list or their favorite people and say, I'm struggling right now. This is what I'm looking for, XYZ. Can you give me some feedback? Now, you're not always going to get perfect feedback, but what you do see is the holistic lens of who your true self is, not just you.
I had a client recently say to me, Lindsey, I've never had leads come to me like this before. That's the difference between posting randomly and using a real strategy. At the BAM agency, we turn content into conversations and those conversations into clients. If you want a social media system that actually works, apply for a free social media strategy session call by heading over to lindseya.com/apply. Yeah, because we can get really caught up in our own heads, and we experience that in marketing. You think all your ideas are the best and you're always justified in all of the things that you do. And so just building that tough skin and just asking for that feedback can send you miles ahead for breakthrough and just a more joyous life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. I love that. Okay. That was step 4, was explore your options. Hannah, what is step 5?
Step 5 is often overlooked. It's assembling your team. So I will say, Lindsey, and maybe you've experienced this too, when you go from one corporate life to starting your own business, you think that you're going to be friends with those people in the corporate world forever. Let me just tell you, out of sight, out of mind is truly the case in some instances, right? You may have your really hardcore group of friendships from your old corporate job, but when you leap towards being an entrepreneur, it's lonely. So you've got to identify who is your core group of people, who's in your life that you can talk to directly, who can you trust, who can hold you accountable, and then who can you celebrate with. So I really talk to my clients about having 3 different people in your life who can be your emotional board of directors to help you get through and onto this new path. So again, who can hold you accountable, who can tell you the truth, and then who can celebrate you when you actually have wins.
Okay, can you add some clarity there? Like, do you recommend friends and family? Are we hiring consultants? Obviously, we hire you. Like, who is it?
Well, people would hire me if they want to get in the driver's seat of their own life. I help coach them and I bring snacks. That's what I say. I basically make it fun, but I'm also going to look to them to say, this is your life. How do you want to live it? Here's some tools to do it.
Okay.
Now, friends and family, it depends on your support system. Like I have a very supportive mom. So I reach out to her and say, what do you think about this? Or she sees something on Instagram and she'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. She'll give me honest feedback. Not everybody has that. So I think it's take stock in the people in your life who you currently have, answering those 3 questions. Who can hold you accountable? Who can be honest with you? And then who can you celebrate with? And look for different people. It can be old coworkers. It can be your best friend. It can be a consultant. I hired 3 coaches in 3 years. Some were great, some weren't. But it's really about finding the right fit. And only you know that personally and what works.
Okay. And are you telling them that they're part of your cheerleading team or your accountability? You are. So like it's an official agreement.
I asked them, hey, I'm really needing someone that, I'd ask you, Lindsey, hey, I'm really needing someone that could take a look at my new speaking reel or can take a look at my new resilience program and let me poke holes in it. I say that, poke holes in it. Let me know what I'm missing, because you don't want to show up on stage or someone's hiring you and you've missed the mark, right? And so needing someone, sometimes women, sometimes men in my life who can basically say, man, your speaking reel looks great. You look beautiful, but what do you speak about? Like you've missed the actual total goal. So having those people in your life that can really help you. is everything. So unpacking that emotional board of directors.
I love that. Okay. Step 6, bring it home.
Make a plan, right? So after you've done all these things, you've taken time at the beach with a notebook, you've figured out your symptoms, you've figured out why. Maybe you're a people pleaser that you constantly give and don't receive. You have your emotional board of directors. You have a plan. You have to execute on that plan. Literally writing down, I'm going to once a week reach out to my emotional board of directors and XYZ. I'm going to once a week take 20 minutes out of my week and unpack how I'm doing and how I'm feeling. I'm going to do a check-in with myself. I'm going to once a week or once a month take time at the beach to really be by myself and figure out, is this the life that I really want to live? How does it feel? I'm going to once in a week take a new class and experiment. And you're going to write that plan down and you're going to project manage the heck out of your life. Are you doing it? Are you checking in with your support system? Are they holding you accountable? And then you're just going to keep pivoting, learning, failing, learning, and then pivot.
I love that. I love that. So that is your 6-step formula for making a plan for your life. Tell me if this is accurate. You have that on both a smaller scale for smaller projects or different parts of your life you're working on, but you also have a major one that's directing everything you're doing. How does that work?
Yeah, so this plan is designed for individual people. If I were to work with you as a coach, this would be your plan. But I've also applied it to organizations because what I've really realized is you can only recover and heal from burnout individually at one capacity. From a large scale organization standpoint, there's a reason why your staff are burning out, right? Specifically. And it could be the workload's too big. The expectations are too high. You don't have a learning model or culture. And so this burn bright model can be applied to both individuals as well as organizations. And to your point, it can be applied to your larger scale life and just one position or track or path of your life as well.
Okay. What are the biggest mistakes that you see people make when they go to implement the Burn Bright method?
Trying too many things at once. That's why we stick to one thing, nail it, and move on. I am a big shotgunner. I don't know if you are, especially as entrepreneurs. We're doing 5 million different things at once. But I think part of the reason why a lot of people burn out is they try to do too many things well at once. And nobody can do that. We're not superhuman. So it's utilizing your tools like AI, utilizing your emotional support tools, utilizing mindfulness tools to get you to a place that you're able to actually manage one thing at once, nail it, and then move on. Then you can celebrate. That's when you can celebrate with your emotional support board.
Okay. So AI, as you know, is reshaping how we work and live. And my question for you is, how do you see this technology playing a role in people being more resilient?
Absolutely. Love this question. When I first started as that entrepreneur, I was doing a podcast, writing a book, and launching a wellness company. Impossible for one person to do by themselves. So really, it was a time when AI was kind of coming full front. We were practicing with it. We were like, are they going to take over the world? Are they going to need me ever? I think AI as the head, and I think of myself as the heart. And my book's called Hello, Head, Meet Heart. And I'm really using AI as my brain's head, whatnot, and then executing with both in mind. So here's an example of that. So I'm an author. I write my own book. I will not be writing a book in AI because I do believe that there's still a creative aspect of authors, right? I'm not a plagiarizer. But what I do believe in is if I needed a structure for my novel or a structure for my self-help book, I would work with AI to do research and verify it, right? I would also work with them on a model or a design to support the book as well. So I'm still doing the heart of the book. I still have the interviews, but I'm using AI to organize, segment, and research and applying that together. Now, if I were to do that on my own, it would probably take a year. But if I were to use that in AI, it would probably take me, frankly, 3 months. Yeah. So that's how I'm using AI. And I encourage my clients to do that as well.
Do you see anybody using AI for mental health? And do you have an opinion on that?
I think that when I'm doing my presentations, like I have a presentation coming up on Friday and I'm doing a new presentation that I've never done before. I have my old tools that I'm applying to my presentation, but I'm using AI to say, okay, these are the tools that I've used in the past. Are there any other new and innovation tools that I can apply to my presentation? And I just found one today, actually, Lindsey. It's a startup that is starting up in a different state that I never knew about, and they are working on work-life balance satisfaction with employees. Now, I didn't know about it, right? So it came up, then I further researched it, and I added it to my presentation. It's just becoming new and innovative ways to add to your previous toolbox.
I love it. Hannah, what a great interview. Thank you so much for sharing your Burn Brightly method with us. It's so powerful. Before I let you go, I'm going to turn the time over to you. Let everybody know how to find you and anything else you want the audience to know.
Sure. Visit me on www.sheshatters.com. I'm also on LinkedIn under Hannah Austin. Listen to the podcast, read the book, Hello, Head, Meet Heart. I have some signed copies if you're in the Portland area at Powell's, but would love to hear from you, and go ahead and follow the link below. And I'd be lovely to talk to you and share the Burn Bright model with you.
I love it. Thanks, Hannah, for being on the show.
Thanks, Lindsay.
That was such a powerful conversation we had with Miss Hannah Austin. A big thank you to her for being on the show. If you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or like life is throwing too many obstacles your way, remember, resiliency isn't something you're born with. It's something that you can build. So here's what to do next after listening to this episode. If you liked this episode, please subscribe and leave a review to the podcast. It helps more people discover the show. And if you're serious about leveraging social media to generate real revenue for your business, apply for a free strategy session now by going to lindseya.com/apply.
That's a wrap for today's episode of The Lindsey Anderson Show. If you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share how you're leveling up your business. Want more? Connect with Lindsey Anderson and get the tools you need to crush your goals at lindseya.com. Until next time, keep pushing, keep growing, and turn those business dreams into reality.
Thank you for tuning in. If you got value from this episode, share it with a friend and hit subscribe. And if you're ready to stop posting and praying and actually generate revenue, let's talk. Book your free strategy session by going to lindseya.com/apply.